We have some extraordinary reporting from inside the hot zone. ABC's chief medical editor, Dr. Richard Besser, managed to gain access to the heart of the fight to stop the deadly Ebola virus, along with producers Adam Desiderio and Cariel Doe. What they found is truly shocking. Dr. Besser has witnessed all manner of medical emergencies, but this one he is calling, quote, the gates of hell.
I'm on my way to one of the most dangerous places on Earth. We're heading straight into the heart of an Ebola outbreak, the worst the world has ever seen. The contagion, a deadly virus that kills up to 90% of those it infects.
You have to remember, this is Ebola Zaire. Highly contagious, highly infectious, very dangerous. And in triage area, you don't touch anything, okay?
This is JFK Hospital, one of only a handful of Ebola clinics in virus-stricken Liberia.
Going into the triage unit here at JFK Hospital, that's where they try and sort out whether a patient coming in has Ebola or something else.
The triage unit is a grim purgatory for sick patients. They wait here to find out if they test positive for Ebola. Some will be moved into the isolation ward. Others will die waiting. In the fight to contain the virus, healthcare workers face grave risks every day. 2 doctors in this hospital have already died after being infected.
So many healthcare workers have gotten Ebola. Does that worry you?
Yeah, it used to worry me before. It still worries me, but sometimes when I sit for long, I say I have to go and take care of my brothers and sisters.
In this dangerous battle, doctors here have shockingly few resources. Some are forced to rely on makeshift contamination suits.
So he's totally covered up for going into the Ebola ward. The final part is putting this hood on, but they don't have hoods that are ready-made, so they're making hoods out of other protective equipment.
The protective hoods that would keep them safe cost less than $1.50, but with demand soaring, supplies are scarce. Once doctors leave the Ebola ward, simple household bleach is a lifesaver.
This is where they are getting sprayed down after leaving the unit. If it isn't done properly, this is where they could get contaminated.
Ebola is spread through contact with bodily fluids like blood, vomit, and diarrhea. Symptoms begin with fever, body aches, and vomiting, and then in some, severe blood loss and organ failure. Death can come quickly, often within days. As bleak as things are inside this clinic, patients in here are the lucky ones. They have doctors and medical care, and occasionally, a survival story.
How are you doing?
Just pulling out.
Is she doing well?
This woman is one of the few who recover from Ebola.
How long has she been at the hospital?
You have been here for how long?
How many days?
1 week, 1 day, so then.
1 week, 1 day?
Yeah.
And how do you feel today?
I'm okay. Jumping.
But the JFK clinic is overcrowded and overwhelmed. Doctors must turn away potentially infected people every day.
Outside the Ebola isolation unit, there are patients waiting. These people think they may have Ebola. They're here to be evaluated.
As they wait for medical attention, they watch as 10 bodies are removed from the Ebola ward.
This is incredible. You know, seeing a truck cart away 10 bodies of people who died from Ebola. I can't imagine what someone is thinking who has arrived there for treatment. You know, it's the gates of hell, going into that treatment ward and knowing that the odds are you're going to come out in a body bag.
For the past 5 months, Ebola has ravaged Western Africa. 1,400 have been reported dead, 2,600 infected. The outbreak has struck several countries, the worst of it here in Liberia, a ground zero for the epidemic. Here, a haunting question. Is it too late? In the capital, chaos and panic is leading to desperate measures. Unable to control Ebola's spread, last week the government quarantined an entire slum, home to 75,000 people. As the quarantine order sparked violent riots, residents were unable to leave, forced to rely on the government for food and water. ABC News' Cariel Doe has been reporting from the center of the outbreak since it began.
So they basically are checking who can come in and out of West Point. Only people with aid supplies and medical staff can go in and out.
This is the part of Monrovia, the city, that's been quarantined. It's the poorest part of the city. It's where there's been the most Ebola, and they're not letting people in and out of that area.
Fences keep thousands inside the slum, some separated from their families.
They've been in this compound
for 7 days?
8
days. Why? It's like you're in prison.
Inside the isolation zone, we spy a young man Cariel had met before the quarantine took hold.
Stephen, I'm Dr. Rich with ABC News. How are you doing?
Stephen is a 30-year-old tailor from West Point. His father, sister, and 2 brothers all contracted Ebola.
You know, normally when you got somebody sick, you can go into the hospital to visit them. How do you feel knowing that you can't see them?
It appeared to me like we already lost a person.
Although Stephen lives in West Point, he had taken to sleeping in his tailor shop outside the slum to avoid getting the virus. But in a stroke of bad luck, Stephen was inside the slum when the quarantine took effect. We got special permission for Stephen to cross the quarantine barrier to speak with us. In this section, it's no more than a simple piece of rope.
How many people have you lost from Ebola?
I lost 3 persons now.
What's the solution? How will Ebola end?
I don't see Ebola ending now. The best solution now, I think, for me is to let me out, to get my way out.
Stephen is now forced to cross the rope line back into the Ebola zone, a surreal divider.
I've seen outbreaks all over the world, and I've never seen anything like this. It makes no sense in terms of disease control. All this is doing is adding enormous pain and suffering to these people.
In this dark hour, an influx of help from abroad is a rare ray of hope. A new Ebola center, run by Doctors Without Borders, is set to open its doors as soon as tomorrow. Modern, clean, and capable of holding up to 400 patients. For so many people here, these efforts will be too little, too late. And many wonder what might have happened had the world only acted sooner. For Nightline, I'm Dr. Richard Besser in Liberia.
And we want to thank Dr. Besser and our producers, Adam Desiderio and Cariel Doe, for their amazing and dangerous work tonight.